गोपीजन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानन्दना जय व्रजजनरञ्जना जय यशोदानन्दना जय व्रजजनरञ्जना जय यमुनातिरावनचारि जय कुञ्जविहारी जय यमुनातिरावनचारि जय कुञ्जविहारी जय राधमाधवा जय कुञ्जविहारी जय राधमाधवा जय कुञ्जविहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Jagannathaya, Jaya Baladevaya, Jaya Subhadramaya, Jaya Sudarshana. Jaya Gaurangi Bengalureshwara, Jaya Gaurangi Bengalureshwara, Jaya Gaurangi Bengalureshwara, Jaya Gaurangi. जय लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा जय हो अनंत देव। लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा जय हो प्रहलाद महाराज। जय वामन देव जय वामन देव। वामन देव जय वामन देव। जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन। जय गौरानिताय गौरनिताय गौरानिताय जय गौरनिताय। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव। निताई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। निताई गौर हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सतश्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। स्कॉन बीबीटीज फाउंडर आचार्य एसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविशय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर को स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नामाचार्य शीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। भक्ति प्रदायिनी श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र गोप गोपिका राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। जय श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी श्री सुदर्शन महाराज की जय। जय श्री श्री नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। जय श्री श्री मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। जय श्री श्री पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। श्री श्री द्वारकाधीश धाम की जय। श्री श्री साकेत अयोध्यापुरी धाम की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। कलयुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada की जय। निताई गौर सितनाथ प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतिरुत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति निष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So welcome you all in today's morning Srimad Bhagavatam session, and today we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam's 4th canto, 17th chapter entitled Maharaj Prithu becomes angry at the earth, and text number 8th. So let me share my screen. I hope that the screen is visible to all of you. So wherever you are, you can recite it. सूत उवाच चोदितो विदुरेणेवं वासुदेव कथं प्रति प्रशस्य तं प्रीतमना मित्रेय प्रत्यभाषत सूत उवाच चोदितो विदुरेणेवं वासुदेव कथं प्रति प्रशस्य तं प्रीतमना मित्रेय प्रत्यभाषत सूत उवाच चोदितो विदुरेणेवं वासुदेव कथं प्रति प्रशस्य तं प्रीतमना मित्रेयः प्रत्यभाषत. Synonyms, translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Synonyms: Suta Uvacha. Suta Goswami said, Choditaha, inspired, Vidurena, by Vidura, Evam, thus Vasudeva, of Lord Krishna, Katham, narration, Prati, about Prasasya, praising, Tam, him, Preetamanaha, being very pleased, Maitreyaha, the saint Maitreyaha, Pratyabhashata, replied. Translation: Suta Goswami said, when Vidura become inspired to hear of the activities of Lord Krishna in his various incarnations, Maitreya also being inspired and being very pleased with Vidur, began to praise him. Then Maitreya spoke as follows. So, purport: talk of Krishna Katha or topics about Lord Krishna or his incarnation is spiritually so inspiring that the reciter and hearer are never exhausted. That is the nature of spiritual talks. We have actually seen that one can never become satiated by hearing the conversations between Vidur and Maitreya. Both of them are devotees, and the more Vidur inquires, the more Maitreya is encouraged to speak. A symptom of spiritual talks is that no one feels tired. Thus, upon hearing the questions of Vidur, the great sage Maitreya did not feel disgusted, but rather felt encouraged to speak at greater length. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरतुसे नमः. पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। जयतं सुरतुपङ्गुर मम मन्दमतेरगति मतःसरस्वपादाम्बुजौ श्रीराधामदनमोहनो दिव्याद्वृन्दरण्यकल्पद्रुमदौ श्रीमदरत्नागरासिंहासनो स्थो श्रीमदराधा शीलगोविन्ददेवो पृष्ठालिभिः सेव्यामनुस्मरामि श्रीमनरासरसारम्भी वांसी वटतटस्थितः कर्षणवेणुस्वनिर्गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रियस्तु नः तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Once again welcome you all in today's morning Srimad Bhagavatam session, and today we are going to read and discuss the fourth canto chapter 17 verse number 8. And in this chapter the title as goes like Maharaj Prithu becomes angry at the earth. So under that chapter we are going to discuss verse number 8. So once again I will read the translation. Suta Goswami continued, when Vidura become inspired to hear of the activities of Lord Krishna in his various incarnations, Maitreya also become being inspired and being very pleased with Vidura, began to praise him. Then Maitreya spoke as follows. So this is the chapter where we are going to read about how Maharaj Prithu becomes angry at the earth. So that will follow, that we can see in the upcoming verses. But in this verse, as we are reading it here, that when Vidura become inspired to hear of the activities of Lord Krishna and his various incarnation, Maitreya also being inspired and being very pleased with Vidura, began to praise him. Then Mitra spoke as follows. So we know the background of this, that how Maitreya Rishi was approached by Vidura, right? To after the departure of Lord Krishna, he wanted to know about Krishna more, and he actually went to Maitreya Rishi, right? And Maitreya Rishi is willingly answer him all the questions that are put up by Vidura. So this is a conversation basically. So if you see, the whole Bhagavatam is being compiled in such a way that there are talks between different, the elated souls, exalted souls, and those souls are very much acquainted with spiritual knowledge, and that's why they are able to impart this spiritual knowledge to the audience as well. And here in this particular verse, Prabhupada is explaining in the purport that talk of Krishna Katha or topics about Lord Krishna or his incarnation is spiritually so inspiring that reciter and hearer are never exhausted. So it's very important from the perspective of hearing, that why hearing is so much important. And at the same time, when the audience is excited about to hear, this is what Prabhupada says, that the nature of spiritual talk is such that no one get satisfied or satiated by hearing the conversation, right? Or by hearing about the Lord. So the both the devotees and the Lord, right? They get satisfied when Hari Katha is spoken by the exalted devotees. And here Vidura is asking and inquiring about so many things, including the incarnation of the Lord, incarnation, various incarnations, right? And this particular verse, we can see here that Vidura become inspired to hear activities of Lord Krishna in his various incarnation, and Maitreya also being inspired and being very pleased with Vidura and begin to praise him. So here we can understand that the ear is very important faculty of gaining knowledge, right? Hearing is very important. So inspired to hear the activities. So we can see that among all the senses that we have, ear is very important. Ear is one of the, you can call it as the most important sense, right? So there are various senses, and ear is the most important sense. And we can see that, even when a man is in deep sleep, right, he can be awakened by no other means than calling out his name, right? You can, you know, do so many things, but the man cannot, come out of sleep until unless there is some noise or some, word is being spoken about him or his name is being called, right? So even when a man is in deep sleep, right, he can get awake by hearing his name or any sound for that matter, right? So one can protect himself from the hands of enemies when he's awake, right? This is Prabhupada told in one of the purport that, when a person is awake, he can protect himself from the enemies by his hands, right? But when a person is in sleep, he is protected by ear only, right? So when a person is in deep sleep, right, and if he hears some noise or some, sound, then immediately he will get up, right? It's especially very important for a soldier, right? If he's in a war situation and he's taking a nap, right? So even, all the senses are in rest mode, right? He cannot see, right? He cannot move his legs and hands and nothing, but still he can hear the sound, right? So as soon as he hears the sound, the soldier hears the sound, he immediately wakes up and see around that if there are some enemy soldiers or some activities are around, right? So that's why the importance of hearing is very important. And just by hearing the glories and the activities of Lord, one can attain the highest perfection of life, right? And the hearing is so important that it can gradually, vanish all of our anarthas, and that is why the hearing is being emphasized in almost, not all the verses, but many of the verses hearing is being emphasized. And it is being said that the ultimate result of devotional service, right, is to develop genuine love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. And that can be done by hearing, right? So that's why it's so important that we should be very, very cautious when we are in any lecture, because when audience is, uh, you know, is focused and hearing attentively, then it gives very much satisfaction to the speaker as well, right? So they say that, on the Hindi or Sanskrit word for, hearer is Shrota, right? So when Shrota is Sota, this is what they say, right? Then Vakta is Bhakta, right? So I'm just going to translate in English that when Shrota is Sota means when hearer is sleeping, right? Then Vakta means the speaker, right? So Vakta is, is directly connected with the audience, right? When the audience is show their attentiveness, or their eagerness by attentive hearing, then the speaker become surcharged with spiritual energy, and then he actually imparts those aspect of devotional service which are, which can remain hidden if the the audience doesn't show their eagerness. So when Shrota is Sota, right, when the hearers or the audience is sleeping, right, then Vakta means the speaker is Bhakta means he will not say anything useful, right? He will say futile things, right? So the one way of progressing in spiritual life is showing eagerness, right? And attentive hearing. So these two aspects in hearings are very important. And as we were discussing, that ultimate result of devotional service is to develop genuine love, and that can only be done by hearing. That's why we need to be very very attentive while uh, sitting in lecture. And Prabhupada was very particular about that. And even in chanting, when we are hearing Lord's name, then again we need to be very, very attentive. So you must have heard in Prabhupada's one of the recording of chanting that sit properly, right? And that not only about sitting properly, Prabhupada has mentioned that we should, whenever we chant, we should hear also properly, very attentively. So it so happened that once a devotee asked that, when I chant, I get so many thoughts, and this is the problem actually, and this is the question that we hear, more often. That devotees ask that, my mind actually wanders like anything when I chant, right? So similarly, one disciple of Srila Prabhupada went to him, and he asked that, Prabhupada, while chanting, I get so many thoughts, my mind wanders like anything, right? So how should I control my mind while chanting? Then Prabhupada said, there is no question of mind, right? You just need to hear, you just need to chant, and you need to hear. There are only two aspect of chanting. One is speaking or pronouncing properly, and second is hearing attentively, right? So that's why it is said that this is the chanting is called as nama yagya, right? Nam yagya. And as we know that in any of the sacrifice or yagya, there are three important aspects of any yagya. One is to perform yagya, you need pandita, right, or brahman, right? And second is you need yagya vedi, right? And third is the yagya samagri, right, or ahuti, right? So these three are most important aspect of any yagya. And in nama yagya, the three important aspect of this yagya is brahmana. Brahmana is what? Brahmana is our tongue, right? And what is the ahuti? Ahuti is nama, Lord's holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is the oblation or ahuti, right? And the third important aspect is yagya vedi or yagya kunda, right? And the yagya kunda is our ear, right? So just think about when we are inattentively chanting, right? So how the yagya will be performed. So you, as a Brahmana is your tongue, you are chanting it properly, right? But, and at the same time, the words, right, of the holy names are actually entering in our Yagya Kunda, that is our ear, but we are not hearing it properly, right? Then what is happening? That the Yagya Samagri, right? The oblations are going here and there. They are not going in the Yagya Kunda or the Vedi, right? And that's why the Yagya will be incomplete, right? So even if among these three aspects, if one is absent, the yajna will be incomplete. If Brahmana is not chanting properly, not pronouncing properly, the yajna will be incomplete. If a yajna Veda is not placed properly, then again the yajna will be incomplete. And even if the oblations are not put properly in the yajna kunda, then also the yajna will be incomplete. So, to make it complete, we need to take care of all these three aspects very carefully. Then only we can complete the yajna properly. And when the yajna is complete properly, then you are going to get the yajna phala, right? The result of yajna, right? And that is the pure love of Godhead. And that can only be done by performing this yajna properly. And that's why it is said that ultimate result of devotional service, that is developing the genuine love for Supreme Personality of Godhead, can be achieved by chanting or hearing. That's why we should chant properly, and chanting, and at the same time hear it. We should hear it properly, and then only we can develop this, genuine love for Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that is the summum bonum of our devotional service. And as we know that the perfect devotees, if you can call them as the perfect devotees of the Supreme Personality of Lord Shri Krishna, are gopis. And in the Gopi Geet, they say that Tava Kathamratam तप्त जीवनम कविभिरीडितम कल्मषापहम श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा jana. So that means that the nectar of your words and your activities, right? The description of your activities. So gopis are saying that your words, the nectar of your words and your activities are life and soul of the sufferings, right? Of those who are suffering in this material world. And we are all suffering. The all humanity is now is suffering. And the only nectar, right, for those suffering souls is the words of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the description or the leelas or the pastimes of the Lord. They are nectars. So these narrations are transmitted by the sages, right? And that can eradicate one's sinful reaction and can give the best fortunes to whomsoever hear them, right? So we should understand that just by hearing, right, the transcendental pastimes of Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can actually attain the greatest fortune. And what is the greatest fortune? The greatest fortune is going back to home, back to Godhead. And these narrations of Supreme Personality of Godhead are broadcasted all over the world and are filled with spiritual power. And those who are spreading this message of Supreme Personality of Godhead are certainly the most munificent, right? And that's very important from our perspective as well. That if we want to develop this love, right? If we want to mitigate the miseries of this material world, then the only hope that we have is Lord's name and Lord's pastime. If we can chant Lord's name properly, if we can hear about Lord's pastime, we can if we can hear properly about Lord's activities, then all our material miseries can be mitigated. And developing the genuine love for Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate aim. And the way is hearing, right? And this love that we are talking about is not in the mundane terminology as we see this. Generally the love is being used in relationship with man and women, and this love is actually the relation between Lord Krishna and the living entities. And the living entities are generally called as Prakriti. In Bhagavad Gita, we know that, right? And Prakriti in Sanskrit, it is a feminine object. And Lord is always described as Parama Purusha. So Purusha is only one. And the Prakriti, all the living entities are Prakriti. Thus, the affection between Lord and living entities is somewhat it is like between male and female. Therefore, the term love of Godhead is very very important. So the loving devotional service to the Lord, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, begins when we hear about the Lord, right? We know from the lifetime or from one pastime of Lord Krishna's marriage with Rukmani, right? We know that Rukmani never met Krishna, right? Before the day when Krishna came and to kidnap her, right? So before that, Rukmani never met Krishna even once, but she developed such a genuine love for Krishna just by hearing about Lord, right? So the Brahmanas there in the kingdom, they used to recite Lord's glories and Lord's pastimes to Rukmani. And that's how she developed the genuine love for Krishna. So just by hearing, right? So if we can develop this kind of eagerness, right, about hearing about the Lord, then we can also achieve the same kind of love. So the loving devotional service to the Lord begins when we hear about the Lord. And there is no difference between Lord and the subject matter heard about him. There is no difference because Lord is absolute, right? For the living entities like us, it is not absolute. The subject matter and the living entity, correct? But for Lord, actually, there is no difference between Lord and the subject matter heard about the Lord. So that's why there is no difference between Nama, Roop, Leela, and Guna of the Supreme Personality of Goddess, because Lord is absolute in all the aspects, and there is no difference, and that's why there is no difference about him and his Leelas or the pastimes or his gunas. And hearing about means immediate contact with him, right? Right. This is how when you touch the flame, right, you immediately come in contact with the fire, right? So similarly, when you hear about the Lord, we come in immediate contact with Lord by the process of the sound vibration. We come in contact with the Lord. And by material association, right, we developed so many kind of material complexities, right? And these complexities are sometimes mentioned as that we have that moha, right? And then we have shoka, the lamentation, shoka, moha, and bhaya. These are three material complexities that we develop when we come in contact with material nature. So shoka means lamentation, moha means attachment, and bhaya means fear. So these three material fangs that we develop when we come in contact with material energy, and these material complexities, or in one way the material fangs can be extinguished when we come in contact with Lord's pastimes, Nama Rupa Leela Gun, everything, right? So in that way we can extinguish the fire of material energy or Maya. And living entity, you know, have different kind of these kind of illusion and what not, right? And even at the most developed stage of human life, right, even at the most developed stage of human life, the same illusion prevails in many of the these theories, right? So somebody follows the monism, some follows the dualisms, right? And we, as a living entity, we get entrapped in those kind of isms, basically. And that's why we cannot develop the genuine love for the Lord, or we cannot have loving relationship with the Lord when we are too much attached to the superficial aspect of the religion, right? So the true aspect of the religion is to develop genuine love for the supreme personality of Godhead. But we, as a living entity, those who, the so-called religious people, they actually get attached to the the ritualistic way of the religion, rather than developing true love for the supreme personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. And that is also the definition of a spiritual master as well. So there are so many people in this world, they claim themselves as Jagat Guru, or spiritual master, or the Guru also, right? But Prabhupada used to say that if you want to know about an authentic guru or authentic spiritual master, right? So there is one standard that you can take in consideration, is one who teaches and preaches that how to develop love towards supreme personality of Godhead. He is true guru, or he is an authentic guru, right? So there are so many gurus, they claim themselves as a spiritual master, but rather than teaching their disciples about how to love supreme personality of Godhead, they teaches how to love themselves, right? And that's why they are bogus gurus, right? So it's a very clear cut way of finding out who is authentic and who is bogus. So one who teaches how to love Krishna, he is proper guru, right? But one who teaches how to love himself, then he is not a proper guru. He is a bogus one, right? So that's what Prabhupada used to say, that those who are teaching how to love, God, they are spiritual master. Whereas on the other hand, those who are teaching how to love themselves are reverse of spelling of God. What is reverse of spelling of God? God's spelling is God, and reverse of that spelling is Dog. So they are dogs, basically, who are teaching to love themselves. And our ultimate aim is to develop love for Supreme Personality of Godhead. And just by hearing the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam, right, this false complexity that we have developed due to our connection with material energy can be removed, and the real peace can be established in our life. And similarly, in the societal aspect as well, right? The real peace can be developed when all the people in the society, aspire to develop genuine love for Supreme Personality of Godhead. So politicians actually want peace in society. They want peace, society. They want peace among people, right? They want peace among different, nations, right? And this kind of peace can only be established when we actually hear about the subject matter that is being described in Srimad Bhagavatam about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. So that's the only way by which we can actually achieve our ultimate aim, right? And there are so many evidences from the revealed scriptures, right? That one can develop how one can develop true love for Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? And when we hear that about Krishna from Srimad Bhagavatam, that he is the Supreme Person, right? And he is the one who is actually residing in everyone's heart, and he is the one who is creator, maintainer, and the destroyer of the universe, or all the universes for that matter, then actually we, understand that he is the one whom we need to connect with. He is the only one, basically, right? Because anyone who is, allured by uh, material energy of the Lord can never ever develop genuine love for Supreme Personality of God. And if we are attached to those people who are attached to material energy of the Lord, and they are, bewildered by the material energy of the Lord, then if we are having connection with those people, then we can never ever develop the true love for Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So this is very much important from the perspective of hearing that we should hear only about Krishna Katha. But in general, we cannot keep ourselves aloof from the material aspects of life as well. So in that case, we need to, make sure that our morning sadhana is very good. If our morning sadhana is good, then we can tackle, the Maya or the material energy of the Lord properly with the blessings of, Guru and Krishna and Gauranga, right? With mercy of Guru and Gauranga, we can do that. But coming back to the subject matter of this verse, the speaker need to be, very much excited about telling the pastimes of the Lord in very energetic way. But at the same time, the hearer, right? He should be very sincere. He should be very submissive and having that enthusiastic attitude, right? And should have the genuine inquisitiveness about the spiritual aspect, right? And that again, he should have great, the attitude of gratitude also, and he should have respect for the speaker, right? So there are certain qualities that a speaker should have. So speaker should be the one who is mind always dwell in Bhagavan or Krishna, right? And he should be, the speaker should be the part of bona fide, disciplic succession. Then only he can authentically represent the teachings, right? So that's why it is very important that the speaker should come from a bona fide disciplic succession. And he should not have a desire for material remuneration for whatever he is uh, doing as Krishna Katha or Bhagavad Katha. He shouldn't accept material remunerations. And the speaker must be, genuine and friendly to everyone, right? He shouldn't consider anyone as an enemy, and he should see everyone as, the part and parcel of Krishna, and he should exhibit the universal law, right? So it's very important from the speaker's perspective, right? And the most important aspect that is being explained in, our revealed scriptures is that the self assimilation, right? So whatever that we are learning, or we are actually, hearing, or we are studying in Srimad Bhagavatam, that should be experienced, genuinely experienced and realized, right? No, and not relay the information. But Srila Prabhupada used to say that even if one is not perfect, right, we should actually, give our emphasis is on that aspect as well. That sometimes we may have a kind of notion in our heart that we will, preach only when we are going to become perfect. But Prabhupada used to say that no one need to be perfect, right, to preach the glories of the Lord and preach the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. They just need to, broadcast or relay the message whatever they are getting from Srimad Bhagavatam or from the disciplic succession, right? So if they can just do that, just become the medium, then they can perfect their life. And since they are not diluting the message, right, and in this way they are actually passing the perfect information. So we need to be very sure, as a speaker, that we are transmitting the authentic uh, message without any dilution. And we should have deep faith, the speaker should have deep faith in previous acharyas, right? And from the qualities of hearers are concerned, then hearer, the audience should be very sincere, the audience should be very submissive, the audience must be enthusiastic and eager to learn, right? And the genuine inquisitiveness should be there, right? We shouldn't come with a challenging attitude. So that's very important. And we should try our best to ask question for understanding and application, not just for debate and argument. So that's very important, that we shouldn't come with a challenging or argumentative mentality. And these qualities ensures that the dialogue between speaker and hearer in a relation to, Srimad Bhagavatam and in relation to Lord's pastimes becomes a transformative and the spiritual experience, and that can lead us to the highest realization, that is going back to home, back to Godhead, right? So that's where I end my discourse. If you have any questions, then you can please ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Wonderful. Thanks for a very wonderful class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as you were mentioning in the class, that yes, the aim of life is to have love of God. And you also mentioned that it should be genuine love, true love, and everything like that. So, when we say the aim of life is love of God, so how do we define this love, true love, and uh, genuine love, Prabhuji? Can you just highlight?
Yeah, so as I was explaining that, the love generally in this world we, understand as in form of, the love between men and women, right? And Prabhupada is actually again saying that, the love of Godhead or Sri Krishna with the, living entities, right? It is, somewhat indicates the same relationship. So, but what is love and what is lust, that we need to understand. Whatever is, activities that actually leads to one's own sense gratification is lust, whereas whatever is being served, right, to Krishna, whatever the activities that we are going to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is called as love, right? So this is what we need to develop, that true or the genuine love, right? So sometimes what happens, that as you were asking about the genuine love, that's why I'm explaining it a bit here, that sometimes a living entity may think that he loves Krishna, right? And superficially, they try to exhibit those symptoms, right? Sometimes we may see that devotees are rolling on the ground, they are continuously weeping, right? Tears are coming out of their eyes continuously, right? And they try to exhibit because they heard it, somewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam, or in somewhere in some of the lectures, right? That in true love these symptoms are getting exhibited, so that artificially try to exhibit those symptoms, but that is not the case. When and that is the standard as well, when we want to test our that how much love that we have developed, right? So that is that this comes very naturally, right? So you started seeing everyone as part and parcel of Krishna, right? All the living entities, you don't have enmity towards them, you want everyone's upliftment rather than your own, right? So there are so many things that can be said about the symptoms of true love, but that can only be experienced when we have that kind of attitude, where we place Lord's satisfaction as our priority rather than our own sense gratification as priority. And that is exhibited in so many ways, right? You may be very much tired, right? In the night, you slept very late, but in the morning you are getting up at the same time, right? Showing your commitment, right? Towards the process, right? And in the meantime, when you keep on doing that for a period of time, in due course of time, Lords actually reciprocate, right? And when he sees that the devotee is very sincere, right? So what we give the priority in our life, that defines that how much we are in love with anyone, or for that matter with the Lord as well, right? So if a person is committed towards the process, and if he is giving priority to the process rather than his own comfort and conveniences, then definitely this is an expression of love, right? And that genuine love comes when we have the genuine desire to serve the Lord, and that genuine desire comes in the heart when we associate with those kind of people who is having genuine love in their heart. So when we come in contact with those people or those devotees who is having sincere desire to serve the Lord, and they have sincere love in their heart for Lord, then when we come in contact with those kind of devotees, then we also develop the same kind of attitude, and in due course of time we will also develop the same kind of genuine love for the Supreme Lord.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. It's clear. And one more thing, that in the class you told that when we come in contact with material energy, we get shoka, bhaya, and one more thing. What was it?
So shoka, and this is what they call as shoka, moha, and bhaya, right?
Shok,
Shoka,
moha.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yes, bro.
Hare
Thank
So
you,
Krishna
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, bro. Dhanwad.
Hari Bol.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, now you have related lust and love, true
Yeah,
love.
yeah.
The lust is, we are enjoying our own senses. Whereas
Mm,
true love is, we are thinking that only Lord should get satisfied.
mm,
Our own senses are kept away in that lust.
mm.
Lust, our own senses are enjoying. Whereas in true love, we are thinking about like gopis and other, they think only about how thus we satisfy Lord.
Right.
But here, the ecstasy which we get in a true love, it is mentioned in the Shastras Ashta Vikar that another kind of ecstasy the devotee who undergoes. But in that case, also his senses are also getting a kind of enjoyment. So how do we define that? You got my point.
Yeah, I understood your point that you are saying that, Krishnendriya Preeti, this is how, the love is defined. Krishnendriya Preeti is love, right? Or Swanendriya Preeti is called as lust, right? So Kama, as you were saying that, even one is when one is exhibiting those ashtavikar, so you are saying that his senses are enjoying, right? So one thing we need to understand that
Not enjoying, but he's getting a kind of enjoyment.
ecstasy,
Yeah,
he's getting
ecstasy,
that
yeah.
ecstasy, right? So that is how I mean that is personal, right? So that's we need to understand that, if think itself is like, you are thirsty, right? Correct. And Lord comes and give you a glass of water, right? So how you are going to define it as? Are you going to define it as love, or you are going to define it is as the lust, right? I mean, I'm just simplifying your question, right? Is this the question? Correct. So if somebody is exhibiting those qualities, for superficially, because this is what the genuine love is, something that cannot come in a day, right? You need to put efforts, right? And then in due course of time, when you are fully surcharged with spiritual energy, and your all senses are focused in serving the Lord, right? So that is something that comes naturally. Even you can say that, when we are accepting prasada, that is also in some way we are satisfying our sense only, right? But that is not considered as satisfying senses. But at the end result, what is the result actually, and what is the motive? So these two things are very important. So what is the motive? So when devotee is chanting Lord's name with all love and reverence, and he's getting those symptoms, right? So that is the result of that activities that he's performed, but that is not something he's aspired for. His motive was not to get those symptoms, right? So we heard about so many devotees that they used to suppress their these symptoms ashtavikara, so that no one can understand that if they think that he's exhibiting those ashtavikara, then he's the true devotee of the Lord, right? So they sometimes will suppress those symptoms, right? Just to make sure that they are not getting mistaken as the pure devotees of the Lord, though they are pure devotees, but still they are suppressing those symptoms. But coming back to your question is whether that is lust or not. That is for sure not lust, that is love only. But love is getting exhibited, right? So somebody may say that I love you, but how you are going to express that love, right? So you express this love by serving, correct? So there is no other way of expressing love than service, right? And when somebody is actually chanting, then also we are serving, correct? We are serving the Nama Prabhu, right? When we are chanting Lord's name, then we are serving Nama Prabhu, and that's why we try to avoid all those Nama Pras, so that we can serve Nam Prabhu without offenses, right? But the ultimate aim is to have that love for Krishna. And if we get that get that love, and when we are exhibiting those quality, those symptoms, the ashtavikar, then for sure it is not you know lust, it is love only. I hope that answers your question, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, अमल पुराण श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रील गुरुदेव की जय, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताई गौर सिद्धानाथ प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि।
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.